Good morning, Divas. Today I'm going to do a short tutorial on how we made the birthday card in an envelope that's made into the envelope, and I'm going to call it an envelope card. These are the dimensions: 8x8 designer series paper, and you're going to use this punch board to score it. Your measurement's 3.5, and your feature piece inside is 4 by 5.5. The next mat is 4 1/8 by 5 5/8, and the bottom mat is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Now, if you are using the actual stamp set, which we used this one, this big part here is what we used. It's very large, and it will barely fit on a 4-inch wide piece of white paper. So I actually used my Digital Studio to print mine out so that I could make it just a wee bit smaller, not even hardly any much smaller, but just enough so that it has a better margin when put on the white piece of paper. So I've already printed those. This is my feature piece, printed with my Digital Studio. If you're using the actual stamp set, it's going to come way over here very close to the edge, and I didn't particularly like that. You're going to have a second mat and then a third mat with very small margins. And you're going to have a piece of designer series paper that you have, again, either stamped or printed this part, the banners, because we're going to fussy cut those and lay them over the piece here. This is the finished card. And you can see it's actually adhered to the envelope, so the envelope is the card. And you see how we fussy cut and put that part over. You're using the punch board, and this just closes up. And you have a belly band, which is the reverse of this paper, which is what's on the inside, would be the belly band on the outside. And I really like it done with this watercolor paper that's in the Current Occasions catalog. Very cute. This is a piece of paper from the sorbet paper that you get when you get celebration rewards, and you can see how I matted it with the darkest color in the back, the black, and used what's on the outside for this inside piece. So let's get started on how we put that together. And I've already stamped this little piece of sentiment on a piece of Whisper White, and we're just going to punch that out, and that gets punched with the 1 3/4 inch Stampin' Up! Punch, circle punch. And that's done. And then that is going to be mounted to, I think, for my particular piece of paper I've got here, this is going to be the outside. So I think I will just mount it with the tangerine that matches, because it kind of looks a little weird with the indigo. Yeah, I'm going to just use the tangerine. Okay. So I'm going to take my 3 layers. And there's the one that I'm going to put, that I have fussy cut these 2 pieces, and they're just going to get glued down on the top. And I think I'll just use my 2-way glue pen so that I can get it out onto those little fishtails. And you're just going to lay that over. I'm sorry my video's upside down to you. Just like that. I'll turn this around and just do it upside down. And just use your Stampin' Up! 2-way glue. And if you're not familiar with 2-way glue pens, if you put them down when the glue is still blue, which is the way it comes out of the pen, then it is permanent. If you let the glue dry until it's clear, then it becomes a temporary adhesive, like a Post-it note. So that's what that's going to look like there. I'm just going to take it now and mat it with my 2 different mats. And this is, it's not going to get a lot of wear and tear, so snail is good enough. So this will be matted onto the tangerine. And this piece of designer series paper I'm using, I don't even remember which pack it came out of. I'm sorry, I don't think it's one from the Current catalog. Oops, this one's out. I think it's from last year's book. Can never have enough snail. Okay, and then this gets matted on the indigo. Okay, so that's my inside, so it's ready to go. I have my piece of 8x8 Designer Series paper. And what I stamped this on, of course, is just the piece that goes here to make it 12 by 12. This is the 4-inch piece that's left. And this is cut off of the other side to give you a 1-inch by, I think I trimmed this down to about 10 inches in length and 1 inch wide. So if you're not familiar with the punch board, there's a million tutorials out there. But this is going to be the outside of my card, so that's the part I want to score. And I'm going to put it on, get out my handy dandy little tool on the end, set it at 3.5. And a lot of people in class the other day had issues with trying to get this up into this hole. Just let it rest there and just think, you're coming this way. So if you just gently go that way, it's going to actually score it. And then you're going to line up that score line with the little tab here, with the little thing that sticks out here. You don't ever measure again. If you measure again, you'll end up with a square envelope instead of a rectangular envelope. And always remember, you're coming down to this groove. Oh, and I'm supposed to punch it as I go. I have the hardest time remembering that. So make your score line and punch. So score line and punch. Turn it. Line up the score line. Make the score. I score first and then do the punching. Punch. Turn it. Line up that score line. Score. And punch. And don't really press down really hard with the point of this tool on designer paper, because you'll just cut it instead of scoring it. Turn it, score on the score line, punch. Okay, so that's what I have are my 4 punches, my sides, top and bottom. This is the top and bottom. I'm going to turn it in here, and on the reverse side of this punch board is a corner rounder, and I'm just going to corner round all of the corners, since I'm not actually making a glued together envelope. So all 4 corners will get rounded. And there's your little punches that fall out when you do that. Now I'm just going to turn it over and reinforce my lines a little bit. Okay, so there's my center. And now all I need to do is adhere my feature piece. Okay. And what I'm going to do, because I have made this where it exactly fits this base, this scored area, I'm going to kind of fold my side up like this and this side up so that I get it, you know, centered. And just lay that down. And it closes up nice and neat, just like that. I got my lovely orange stripes. I got a friend that loves orange. She's going to love this card. So that's that piece. Now this is going to be the outside. And you can just lay it on your card, like lay it on your envelope like this and bring it around. Trim your piece. You just need it to overlap about 1 inch to be nice and sturdy. So I'm just going to put some snail where those two overlap so that it stays nice and snug. You could use some Score Pal tape there if you wanted to. And it can be in the center, or it can be off center, whichever. That's just a kind of a personal preference thing. And I'm going to actually have my medallion be on the back where the folds come together instead of on the front of my envelope. And you see how tight I made it. I have to kind of bend the envelope to actually get the belly band off and on. You can make it looser if you like. Okay, and I've got my little sentiment piece here. And I think like I said, I'm going to put it on the orange, which has some little edging from my punch for some reason. Okay, since it has done that, I'm just going to use the blue because I can't get that off right now. I need to punch something white, I guess, to get that off my punch. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of my 1 3/4 inch circle using the two-way glue pen again. Put that on there. Like so. And that's going to get glued down to this. And I know it's about 1 inch wide I know that this piece is 1 inch wide, so I'm going to turn this over and try to keep it in the middle and not put it any further over than 1 inch. If you can't determine what that is, you can lay your piece on there like that, and you can see where your 1 inch is, or you can be fussy and measure it with a ruler or whatever. But that should be good enough. Or if you wanted to, you could mount it with dimensionals. Okay. And there's the finished card. It's very simple, a quick and easy card, especially if you use My Digital Studio, because you can, there's no cleanup, no stays on jet black to have to clean up. You just print it and you're ready to go. Hope you enjoy.